Move ahead into our What Would You Do segment, stealing a line there from City High. I like that. Do you even know who they are?
City High.
Yeah, long time.
Oakland Tech. I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyways.
John Quinones. What would you do?
That's way past him. All right. Klay Thompson has struggled. It's been the storyline. There's always these playoff storylines, and everybody during these 9 days are going to hone in on how do you fix Klay Thompson? Well, he was really good defensively. I mean, Mike Brown talked about it at practice today, that assignment of taking Patty Mills out effectively was all Klay Thompson. And we saw him in earlier series, kind of pockets here and there, but he hasn't had the Klay explosion that we've seen in multiple games. Anthony, during this time, I mean, what would you do? How do you fix
maybe
Klay?
Scout to get him more touches. If you look, NBA.com tracks how many times a player touches the ball per game. Klay Thompson's, even though he's playing more minutes in the playoffs, he's only touching the ball about, 8 or 10 times less per game than he did in the regular season. His shot attempts are way down. His points are way down. He had a game, I think it might have been either the Portland or Utah series, where he had 39 minutes and only 9 shots. All season, if he played over 30 minutes, he was getting 14 or more shots. So he's just not being used as much. Part of that is because we haven't seen Durant and Curry work this well together. And if those guys are so on, the more shots are going to them. To me, he's out of rhythm because I think partly he's just not touching it nearly as much.
Same for you?
I will. You know what? You got to get in transition more. Mm-hmm. You got to run. Like, that's where Klay is going to get those, backbreaker three-pointer. Like, that's where he's good, especially when he's, like, in his head with his shot. I think they run a little bit too much, let's get Klay a shot. Instead, push the pace, let him get in the freneticism where he's just shooting and he's not thinking about a shot. He's really good at that. I also think you just got to leave him alone.
You just got to hit shots.
You got to I think they're doing it right by not making it a big deal, because it'll come eventually, but the more he thinks about it, the worse it's gonna get. So I would say leave him alone. Maybe give him some time. Morocco, chill out.
Yeah, everybody talks
weather's
about
nice.
Weather's nice, man.
He should be shooting well.
I'm just saying, what would y'all do with Klay?
Leave him alone. Let a dead dog lie. Not much.
Plays great defense on the court. Best shooting guard, best defensive guard.
And they're happy with the fact that he's been able to, throughout these struggles, stay locked in defensively. Because guarding Patty Mills, the dude's a lightning bolt.
Let's not anoint him for shutting down Patty Mills.
I'm not, but the
it's
fact
been
that
too much of that lately.
But the fact
it's Patty
that
Mills.
Yes, he's not Tony Parker, but the fact is, that dude was all over the court, and Klay was still sticking with him on every assignment.
Yeah, the only issue I've had with all these comments, like Mike Brown keeps saying that, everyone's mentioning that, it's like he was doing that when he was shooting well too. He was always been a good defender. He's just not shooting well. That's what we need to talk about, because he's always been that defender. It's not like it's a seesaw that's going the other way.
All right, Bob Myers, general manager of the Warriors, spoke this afternoon about Steve Kerr's health. It's been a lingering question mark. Is he going to come back for the finals? Is he not? There really was no news today to report other than this is a process that they're going through. Anthony, what do you do if you were with the Warriors, what do you do at this point, given that he may feel well enough to come back for the finals, he may not?
I think they know he's not coaching in the NBA Finals, but I think just out of respect to Steve, they're kind of leaving the door open so he doesn't feel completely out of the loop. But he's around a ton. But the truth is, look, they're talking about, if he feels 3-4 days of progress, then maybe. My thing is, if he feels 3 or 4 days of progress, do not put him on the sidelines of an NBA Finals game. You know how stressful those games are. A bad call happens. That's how he originally hurt the back. He was jumping up in the finals on a call he was mad at. So you don't want to put him in that situation. Bright lights, that the arena in Cleveland, the noise that they pump in, if he is feeling
designer songs, all just
that too. If he's
mess them all up, and
if he's feeling enough progress, that is the time you don't want him on the sidelines.
You know what? I would just say he's out. I would end all the discussion about it. Steve Kerr is out for the remainder of the season, and if somehow that changes, then he's like Willis Reed running out of the tunnel, saving the day. But he's out. Just come out,
give me the clipboard.
Break a clipboard to announce that he's back.
Yeah, somehow, just say he's out, and now that's over. It's done. He's out. Now he might need the carrot of you can come back, that. They might want him to have that so he can kind of work his way back. And, they want to Like he might just say, "All right, I'm out for let me chill," but I just say he's out.
I got another theory that's probably completely false. Mike Brown against Cleveland is about to be a mega storyline once Cleveland is officially, coming out of the East. Maybe they're just thinking if they leave this lingering, Steve Kerr could come back, maybe they cut down that storyline a little bit because people are still like, well, it might be Kerr. But if you announce Kerr's completely out, then we got Mike Brown, Cleveland as a clash. That's probably completely false, but maybe that's part of their thought.
Brown trying to slay the king. With that in mind, what would you do? How do you stop LeBron and Kyrie?
I mean, you just defend the way they've been defending all year. Versatile. You throw a bunch of waves of people at him. With LeBron, I mean, I think they have the best roster in the league to at least slow LeBron because you have, Iguodala, who we've talked about. Draymond Green can guard him at times. Is obviously one of the best help defenders in the league, probably the best help defender. And then Kevin Durant is they're both really good defenders of each other because, they're two of the top 5 talents in the world. I mean, they've always scored on each other, but they make it hard on each other, which is all you can do. I mean, you're not going to be like, hey, Durant, go, shut him down for 11 points, but just defend hard.
I'm trapping Kyrie, like
force him to pass because he doesn't pass a lot.
I'm trapping Kyrie. He's the one guy who I think they have a problem with, just because he's so slithery and he's such an expert at one-on-one. Mm-hmm. If it's a close game, I'm just like, all right, I'm giving him the Steph Curry treatment. Yeah, I'm blitzing you and make you pass the ball.
Would you do one of those where if he was dribbling at the top of the key, you just send a center out and then kind of rotate
probably not a center.
him?
He'll get around.
Well, I mean, if you double, you kind of force it out of his hand.
I'll send Draymond.
Right.
I'd send Draymond to I'm forcing him to give the ball up because when he's got it in his hands, you got foul trouble is an issue. He's great at finishing around the rim. And like you said, they got a lot of pieces that can guard LeBron. They don't have a lot of pieces that can guard Kyrie. If he's beating Klay, now it's like, do we put Iguodala on him? Like, what do we do? Maybe Livingston? Like, you're running out of options. McCaw might be a new one.
X Factor earlier we talked about.
Yeah, McCaw might be a new weapon they can throw. But I would just I want to see them trap him and take him out of the game. Just you got to give the ball up and see, does he make the right pass? Does he force it and turn it over? Like nobody traps Kyrie. If you ever watch, I know he's playing next to LeBron, but nobody traps him ever. He just gets to go one-on-one, which is the best. He's like the best at one-on-one, and they just let him do it.
Is this embarrassing for the Celtics that we're sitting here and just breaking down every part of a Cavs series when they're playing?
They're playing tonight in like an hour. So.
I mean, look, they're relying on Marcus Smart to get.
Hey, I covered Marcus Smart
points. Nah, that's fine. But
he can get hot.
Yeah, exactly. He had his one.
He needs 3 more of those.
Yeah, it ain't happening.
All right, finishing this up in 30 seconds or less. Tell me, what would you do to keep JaVale McGee next year or not?
At the minimum, yes. He's a piece. He's worked beautifully for the minimum this year. He's probably given them $5-6 million type per year production this season. 121 dunks in 730 minutes this season. He was like 12th in the league, even though he barely plays. He's such a weapon that they can utilize. They just have to convince JaVale McGee, hey, you may be getting an offer for $6 million elsewhere, but first of all, you're not going to play in the finals elsewhere, and you're not going to have nearly the impact. We revitalize your career, come back on the minimum. If he says, no, I want $6 million a year.
Can they even pay him?
They can give him a minimum. They can
give
anyone
what I'm saying. Like more than that. They can't.
No, I mean, unless it's going to dig in elsewhere. So it's just, to me, it's what would JaVale McGee do? Does he want to stay here? Or does he want to go?
I'm going to get that printed on a bracelet. WWJD.
If
you live your
WWJD, that's what you're going to
JGD.
JVGD.
I don't know. It's so many letters.
Yeah, got her. That's like one of them games you play with shots.
Exactly. What would you do, Marcus?
I would do whatever it takes to keep him. Like they can't do too much, so there's a limit, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's not like they can pay him $10 million, but I mean, Zaza and David West are your first 2 centers. Like you got to get a center anyway.
I was talking to Myers about it the other day when he was in free agency last year with the centers. It's not a discussion. It's just like, do you want the minimum to play? Yeah. And he says yes or
but
no.
But
he's there
are some things you can do. You make him feel good. They can feel a lot better.
Well, they've done that all season. If he doesn't recognize that, he's never going to.
Now, look, it's when the Sixers are like, dude, we got $10 million for you. He's probably out.
You know what? Then congrats, and they better hope Damian Jones is better. I mean, they can go and find somebody. He's not that important. I think they'd be in this spot if JaVale was.
I don't even think it's a basketball thing, though. I think it's a team morale thing. Like, his teammates. Like, if you're Steph, right, And for so long, you've been throwing lobs to David Lee, right? Chris Hunter, and dudes who can't jump. You finally get a dude you could do what Kyrie do. Just go to the hole and be like,
I think Damian Jones next year.
he might be able to, but you can't take that from Steph.
Yeah, but you know what his teammates will be happy about if they're like, man, JaVale got a $10 million contract with the Sixers. They'll be Instagram posting, congrats, JaVale. I mean, it'll be fine.